Howdy howdy Eldritch Buddies, this is Kiwi Calamity coming at you with another episode of Minecraft Hardcore Mode. You might notice that my new skin is looking a little bit different, but that's because I accidentally deleted my old skin when making that one thumbnail for the last job story video. So yeah, we're gonna ignore that, it's fine, don't worry about it. We're gonna be hopping right back into some work-related stories, and yeah. Enjoy! I don't think we want this to be too big, but we're going to make a cute little cottage. I am not the best at building, but I'm gonna try. Oh, you know what would be smart? Building a water bucket. Crafting a water bucket. Same difference. Ah, yes, that is going to be an aesthetic little cottage, and I love it. Oh, Mo, Curly, and Larry. We love them. One of these days I'm gonna accidentally punch them and cause either my death or theirs, or both, and we will mourn. Oh! Hello, Trader Man. You have nothing that interests me. I've always had this theory, though, that because the traders wear green shirts, the nincompoop villagers actually become traders after leaving the village. I don't know if that's actually the case, but that's what I like to think. The only reason I would want to keep you around, little man, is to, steal your llamas. And that is it. Your life is forfeit to me, and I would murder you in a heartbeat, but I'm feeling too lazy. Don't you disrespect me, little man. Don't you derogate or deride. You're in my world now, not your world. And I got friends on the other side. He's got friends on the other side. I am actually tempted to kill this man so I can steal his llamas and his leads. Let's do that. Lava, lava, lava. You know, according to speedrunners, I have everything I need to go to the Nether, but I don't want to. Just low-key committing murder. Haha! We have new friends! New friends. They're mine. You can chill out with the cows. Hey guys, we got contributions to our zoo from a very lovely donor. Isn't that nice? I think it's rather kind of him. Boop. They're mine now. What? Excuse you. There we go. Your turn. I'm pretty sure trader llamas are actually a different coded thing as opposed to regular llamas. Like, they have their own code, is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, back to building our little cabin. Cabin in the woods, cabin in the woods, cabin in the cabin in the cabin in the woods. I don't need this lava, so I guess I'll put it back. I mean, nothing's to say I couldn't build another portal and scope things out. I'm also not confident in my abilities in the Nether, because I can MLG water, okay, but I'm not confident in my ability in that. So, yeah, okay. Oh, what? Oh. I didn't put this at quite the right interval. Oh. See, I can MLG water just fine. Oh, jeez. Heck yeah, goth cabin in the woods. Nothing spooky about that at all. That doesn't look too bad. There's one window there. One window there. And a third window there. I think I'll want the floor to be of a different material. Perhaps the natural, local birch logs. Yeah. Listen, buddy, if you don't want to be... I was gonna say, listen, buddy, if you don't want to be lunch, you should probably leave. Ah, yes, the curse of the 3 doors. Because why? Of course I would need 3 doors. Oh, yes. And then we'll have this be a ladder up to a 2nd floor. Maybe I'll have a balcony off the side, just over there. Which means I have to cut down another tree, but that's fine. Boop. I don't think I need 9, but now we have 9. It'll end about right there. And then we'll have some fences right here. Okay, that's not looking too bad so far. I think I want the doors to be back here, though. Boop, boop. Get some dark oak logs before the night truly comes. Probably have time to get a little bit of sand. Alright. Best not tempt the fates. So working on a job like an environmental campaign, you're gonna run into some interesting characters. And there were a few. One of the people that I remember was this girl who had self-defense knives as opposed to, say, pepper spray. Meaning, on her person, and she did mention this, she wasn't super verbal about it, but she had 2 knives. Decently sized knives too, not little tiny things. She just had 2 knives. And her reasoning was, they scary. I've never quite gotten over that much, where it's like, ah yes, what do you carry on your person? Self-defense knives. There was another guy who I do remember very vividly who helped me keep that job the first week, where his whole deal was he was supposed to be like one of the better in the business. He was a pretty big deal, at least in terms of the environmental campaign world, at least in our very little environmental campaign world. MLG water practice. But he was actually really, really nice. One of the first things I remember he did for me was he helped. We were supposed to try and reach a specific quota so we could actually keep the job. Because obviously if you couldn't meet the criteria, then you would get fired, and that was kind of like the end of your grace period. Okay, let me rephrase that. In this job, you had a certain amount of time that was training, and then a certain amount of time where you were expected to meet this quota. And if you didn't meet that quota, you would be fired. Short, sweet, simple. The first week, you didn't really have a quota because you were new, and that wouldn't exactly be fair, right? I was reaching the end of that grace period, and I was not the best at this job, which, aside from the parking, was one reason why I ended up quitting it. But I was trying my best, because obviously, I needed the job. And I came so frustratingly close to meeting that quota. And I remember being pretty upset because I wanted to keep that job. And the guy looks at me and sees how upset I am, and he asks me, do you really want to keep this job? And at the time, of course, I said yes. Because obviously, I needed the job for the summer, and how's this looking? Not bad. I think I could use a bit on the side, so it doesn't look like quite a square. But he helped me keep that job that very first week, and I've always been very grateful to him for that. He was a very kind and very strange man, because he was very persuasive, and I remember quite vividly, he could always manage to talk people into donating to our campaign. And sometimes he would get very strange objects doing so. For example, one day he came back and he was like, guys, you will never guess what I got. And no, we couldn't have, because he got a Bible? A New Baptist Bible, I believe it was, but he got a Bible. And he brought it back, and we were all looking at it, and all the people in heaven were white. So it was that kind of Bible. Ugh. It was very interesting, because this guy was basically like, oh, heck yeah, Bible. Make a little roof. And then we'll get up to the top. How's this looking? Oh, that's much better. It could use a little bit of sculpting, a bit to make it a little bit more interesting, but it's looking okay. We'll put a fence around that so we can come out of here. Oh. I'm going to have to make the ceiling one thing higher. Close is it tonight? Probably should start heading back. Oh, and we can get back and get the glass, and boom, 2 birds with 1 stone. It's a bit funky looking. But hey, I'm not a supreme builder or anything like that. I've never boasted as much. Back to the other house before the night falls. Though he wasn't always the only one to get strange objects while campaigning. I remember I was on a particularly nice street, and this one artist lady gave me this like hand-blown glass little coaster, and I think she was trying to get some free advertisement in. But I still have the glass coaster. I'm not at my house, which is where it is. Otherwise I would take a picture of it for you guys. The coolest thing I have from that job because, bruh, who doesn't want someone to give them a hand-blown glass coaster? Like, sure, I'll donate some money. Also, by the way, would you mind telling people about my little business? And so I did. I went back to the office and I was like, guys, look how cool this is. And yeah, that was one of the more cute things I had gotten. Other times, I never really took food or water or anything like that, because there was this horror story we had at work where this one girl, she went out to a campaign and this old lady gave her some lemonade. And then she started to feel really dizzy and the old lady was trying to keep her there, and she ended up leaving because she was really creeped out. And then she went to the next house and this guy tried to offer her lemonade and she got really creeped out and she ran out and had to get picked up because she was just that freaked out and scared. So yeah, we never really took any water or food or anything from people, but there was also no bathroom stops either, and we could be walking in 80-degree heat or anything like that. So we needed water, and of course I brought water with me so I wouldn't die, because it gets humid where I am. Hot and humid is not a good combination if you're trying to not die. But whenever you had to use a restroom, you would often have to ask one of the people you were trying to campaign for. And I only remember doing it once or twice, and it was always with older ladies, because it felt a little safer to me. But as the lemonade story shows, that's not always safe. So we always had to be very careful. We went to nice neighborhoods, and we were never in really any true danger, but it was something to always keep in mind. The lemonade story. Let's see, what else could I talk about? There it is, peeking over the rooftops. Like the spooky little thing it is. Whoopity-doo. Ask not, for I have no answers. I don't know why I talk this way, but I just do. What's another interesting story? Oh yeah, there was this one guy. So we had to campaign on the 1st of July, which in America, if you guys didn't know, is a holiday where we celebrate basically when we got our freedom and independence, or it was either that or Labor Day, which I don't exactly remember what Labor Day is for, but we usually get it off at school. It was some holiday like that during the summer, where it's usually like a big barbecue day. You go be with your families and all that, but I had decided to work so I could, get a little extra cash, because I think we were getting a bonus if we showed up to work that day. And it wasn't going to be all day, so we would have some time to spend with our families. But it was going to be decently long. So yeah, I opted to go on this little excursion. I do not know why I said it like I was the most pompous person in the room, but I went on this little excursione. But I opted to go on this little excursion because, little extra money in the bank, couldn't hurt. And it was a fairly slow day, but everybody was barbecuing. Nobody really wanted to be bothered, so no one was expecting it to be a really superb day for donations. However, there was also this mentality of, yes, they're barbecuing. They're trapped. They have to listen. So yeah, that was a thing that I'm pretty sure our boss told us. 21 fences, as opposed to 21 pilots. But there was one thing I remember very vividly from this little trip, donation day, whatever you wish to call it. There was a guy who basically said I reminded him of his dead daughter. So, yeah. I get to this guy's house, right? And it's fairly standard. I think he was out working on his car or something of the matter. So I get to this guy's house, and it's nothing... oh right, crafting tables can't be MLG'd on. It's nothing too extreme. Fairly normal, suburban house in a suburban neighborhood. But I was not expecting the, so I get to the door, and he comes up, fairly cheerful old man, and a bit of a beer belly, a little bit of a beard, stereotypical kind of, I'm gonna say this, and I mean no offense to this, Republican grandpa type. Now, it doesn't mean anything bad, but I could also see him having a sign that says a sign that says we don't call 911 with the two little guns over it. And that's all I mean. Okay? Okay, but anyway, I require a new axe. I go through my spiel, like, we're trying to raise money, to the memorized spiel that I was forced to memorize for days. And that was part of orientation, and that wasn't fun. But anyway, I go through my spiel, and at some point we just start talking, and he seems a little lonely, so I indulge him, and I did not need another shovel, but I guess I have one now. Anyway, we're gonna pretend that didn't happen. So, I get through the spiel, and at some point he goes, "Brr, brr, brr, you remind me of my dead daughter." I think it started off with him being like, "Man, I want to show you something," and he brings me over to his car, and he's like, or I think he starts telling this story of his daughter went to New Orleans with a bunch of friends, and she got murdered. So this wasn't a died of natural causes disease kind of thing, she was murdered. Yeah, I was at that point I was standing there like, oh, what have I gotten myself into? But being the person that I am, I stay because, oh no, lonely man, and also, oh no, social obligation. So I do not ditch this old man who begins making the comparison of me to his dead daughter. And also because I'm too nice when it comes to stuff like that, but it's fine. He shows me this license plate which he says has his dead daughter's birthday on it, and he had never ordered the plate like that. And it was supposedly a sign from God, which, have your own beliefs, but if there is a God, and he did that, wouldn't that be a kind of a, not cool, bro? Why would you send this in my mail? My daughter is dead. Why? Or if you even were to go, this was a thing sent by my daughter. Daughter, no. Why? That doesn't seem very cool, daughter. So that was a thing. Didn't really think that part through. This part needs more lights. This isn't entirely what I had in mind, but it's not entirely not. I think there's some sheep out here that I could probably try shearing and make an impromptu bed out of. The night is dark and full of terrors, but we must brave it. I could try to book it back to my house, but do I really want to try that in hardcore? This horse keeps jump scaring me. 'Cause I think it's something that it's not. Like, yep, time to die via spider, but nope, it's just this freaking horse. Okay, I know there was this sheep that kept trying to break into my house earlier, and I was annoyed with him, but now I require him. Free wool? One wool, you cheapskate. Oh, no, 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 not today, not today, not today. We're gonna sprint back into the hole. Go to the pit, go to the pit. Haha! Where are you? Oh. There we go. That actually doesn't look bad. I like that better than the previous window arrangement. I'll have the bedroom be over here. Get some more wool from my sheep so I can have a bed. But for now, maybe we'll go on a little adventure to see if we can find some spruce in these mountains. Because if all else, I would probably be able to find it there. Or if nowhere else. Oh yeah, the guy with the dead daughter. I end up talking to him for a while and letting him talk my ear off. And it wasn't like that. I was genuinely feeling bad because he seemed lonely. But I wanted to at least keep him company for a bit. But the hilarious part is, I let him do all this, and then he never donated money. Like, geez, Grandpa, if I remind you of your dead daughter, you're gonna hug me and say I remind you of a granddaughter? You think you could spare your granddaughter like a couple dollars for her job? So yeah, that happened. It was just, I still find it funny to this day where it's like, oh, you remind me of a granddaughter. And I spent a good hour talking to you when I probably could have been getting donations from other people. And then you didn't. So yeah, that was that guy. There was also a less interesting incident where I was in this somewhat affluent neighborhood, and this old lady came to the door, and she was talking with a friend on the phone, and the friend was on speakerphone and could hear me talking and do the whole environmental spiel of, hey, we're trying to do this, could you spare a few dollars? But yeah, the other old lady could hear me talking over the phone, and the old lady on the phone that was speaking over speakerphone, she starts saying, oh, you snake, as I'm talking and giving the environmental spiel, which I get. People don't necessarily like what I was doing, and they could get annoyed. But at the same time, you could just, just say no. You could be polite and just tell me to go away, because I'm not going to keep badgering you. Although we're kind of trained to. Kind of. But if you shut the door on us, we leave. She starts saying all these things, like kind of insulting me over the phone. The only one I really remember is, oh, you're such a snake, as I'm going through and explaining the donations. Like, oh, you could do this and we won't come to your door. Which was the, like, annual and or monthly thing. But yeah, I totally get
not liking us.
But it was so funny because the, oh, you snake comment